I don't know how to explain what it's like growing up in a family where you're basically the permanent villain of the story. My name's Ethan, I'm 29, and my whole life I've been cast as the problem child, even when all I did was exist. My younger brother Logan, 2 years younger, was the golden boy. If you've ever had a sibling that your parents worship like the second coming of Christ, you know the pain. When we were kids, it was small stuff that piled up. Logan could eat cookies before dinner, and it was boys will be boys. If I did it, I was spoiled and selfish. Logan once hit a baseball straight through Mrs. Davis's window next door, and Dad laughed about how strong his arm was. I accidentally knocked over a lamp during a game of tag, and I got grounded for a month. My mom used to say, "Ethan, you always make things harder than they need to be." I was 7. What could I possibly be making harder? As we got older, the favoritism just evolved. Logan barely scraped through high school while I pulled straight A's. At his graduation, Dad rented a whole hall for a party and gave a speech about how proud he was. At mine, dinner at Applebee's and a pat on the back. Logan went to college, flunked out in the first year, and moved back home. He got sympathy, and everyone has setbacks. When I left for a job in tech, I got accused of abandoning the family and acting too good for them. So by the time I was in my late 20s, I'd basically accepted my role. I was the outsider, the one who worked, who had money, but never really belonged. Still, for some reason, I kept trying to prove myself, and that's what led to the disaster of last Christmas. I thought, maybe if I did something big, something undeniable, they'd finally see me differently. Maybe they'd realize I wasn't just useful when they wanted something. So I splurged. I found this insane luxury lodge up in the mountains. We're talking ski in, ski out, glass walls overlooking snowy pines, a hot tub steaming on the deck while snow fell, a fireplace you could practically walk into, a game room, a chef's kitchen, the works. It cost me $9,500 for a week, but I could afford it. And deep down, I thought, this will finally show them. This time, they can't twist it into something bad. I booked it under my dad's name, because I knew he'd want to play the role of host, and I didn't want to fight about appearances. But I used my card, my money, my gift. I even emailed him the confirmation. His response? Good, about time you did something useful. That was it. $9,500, and all I got was about time. I told myself it didn't matter. The trip itself would make it worth it. I could already picture Christmas morning, everyone in matching pajamas, opening gifts by the fire, maybe even some corny family bonding moment. For once, maybe I'd feel like I belonged. Then Logan started posting on Instagram. New ski jacket, ski boots, goggles, all tagged with captions like, "Can't wait for the cabin Dad rented." Dad rented. Not Ethan. Dad. I confronted him about it and he just smirked. Relax, dude. Nobody cares who paid. Nobody cares. Except me. I cared. Because I knew exactly how this would play out. Dad would take credit. Logan would bask in the glow. And I'd be invisible, like always. A week before Christmas, I stopped by my parents' house to drop off some decorations I'd bought for the trip. I walked in on them sitting in the living room with glasses of wine, Logan bragging about all the things he planned to do at the lodge. And then Dad turned to me, as casual as if he was asking me to pass the salt, and said, "You're not coming this year. It's family only." "We don't need drama." I laughed because I thought he was joking. I said, "I am family." Logan rolled his eyes. Mom gave me that pitying look, the one she always gave me like she knew I was about to explode but wouldn't defend me either. And Dad said, "We'll have a better holiday without you. You've already done your part, my part." My part was footing the bill, nearly 10 grand out of my pocket, and I wasn't even invited. I left before I said something I couldn't take back. I went home, opened my laptop, stared at that reservation confirmation, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel sad. I felt furious. I canceled the booking. Refund straight back into my account. I didn't even hesitate. The next morning, the calls started. First, Dad. "There's a mistake, fix it." Then Logan. "Dude, WTF? My friends are expecting photos. You promised the cabin." Then Mom, begging me to just fix this quietly for your father's reputation. That was the breaking point. It wasn't about me, it never had been. It was about Dad looking good. Always about him, I ignored them all. For once I let the silence speak. Christmas came and went. They scrambled to book something last minute, but it was nothing like what I had reserved. A rundown little cabin 2 hours away, with peeling wallpaper and a hot tub that smelled like mildew. Logan didn't post much on Instagram after that. But the story didn't end there, because my family has never been the type to let things go. About a month later, I got a fraud alert from my bank. Someone had tried to use my account information to book another luxury lodge. Guess whose name was on the reservation? My dad's. They had actually tried to commit fraud, using my card to cover up their lies. I didn't even get angry this time. I just collected everything. The booking confirmation in Dad's name, the refund in mine, screenshots of Logan's Instagram posts bragging about his trip, the fraud alert, the voicemails of my dad demanding I fix his mistake. I didn't know when, but I knew I'd use it. The chance came at my parents' anniversary party in January. The entire extended family was there. Dad's colleagues, Logan's friends, the perfect stage. Logan brought up Christmas, of course. He painted me as the villain, selfish and petty, the one who ruined everyone's holiday. People were nodding, giving me those judgmental looks I knew all too well. So I stood up, walked over to the projector, plugged in my laptop, and one by one I laid it all out. The original booking, the refund, Logan's Instagram lies, the fraud alert, the voicemails. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. The truth spoke for itself. The room went dead silent. My aunt gasped. My uncle muttered, "Unbelievable." Dad tried to backpedal, stammering about misunderstandings. Logan laughed nervously, calling it a joke. Mom whispered, "Please stop, Ethan." But it was too late. Their masks had cracked wide open, and everyone saw them for what they were. I closed my laptop, thanked a few relatives, and left. The fallout was delicious. Dad's colleagues distanced themselves. Logan's friends unfollowed him after the screenshots started making the rounds. Mom deactivated her Facebook. For once, I wasn't the scapegoat. I wasn't the black sheep. I was the one holding the truth. And that $9,500 I thought I wasted? Worth every cent to finally burn down the lie they'd been living in for years. Update. It's been 6 months since that night, and the aftershocks are still hitting. My dad called me once in February. Not to apologize. Not even close. He said, "You humiliated me. If you think you're welcome in this family again, you're dead wrong." I told him calmly. I was never welcome to begin with. Hung up. Haven't heard his voice since. Logan, of course, tried to spin it. He posted some sob story online about having a toxic brother who ruined his life. But people knew. Screenshots don't lie. His little influencer dreams dried up quick. He actually had the nerve to DM me in March, asking if I could spot him for rent because family sticks together. I left him on red. My mom, she's the only one who tried. In April, she came by my apartment with a box of my childhood stuff. Old photos, a few toys, my high school yearbooks. She sat on my couch and cried, said she missed me, said things were different now. But even then, even in her tears, she never said the one thing I wanted to hear. Not once did she say, "I'm sorry we treated you that way." It was always just, "Your father didn't mean it," or "Logan didn't know any better." Deflecting, protecting them, never me. I told her, "Mom, I don't hate you, but I'm done being the family punching bag." She nodded, cried some more, and left. I haven't seen her since. As for me, I spent this summer in Europe. Booked myself a 2-week trip across Italy and Switzerland. Skiing, hiking, vineyards, the works. Paid for by the same money I got refunded from that Christmas cabin. And let me tell you, drinking wine on a balcony overlooking Lake Como, I felt more peace than I ever had in that family home. So yeah, that's the fallout. No reconciliation. No miracle apology. Just the realization that sometimes the best revenge isn't payback or exposing the truth. Sometimes the best revenge is cutting the cord and finally living a life where you're free. And honestly, that's worth more than 10 grand any day.